McIntyre, and I'm the No Longer coach here at Vance Middle School. This is Dr. Amy Scott, the principal at Vance. And Amy, I know that you chose to use all of your No Longer money to implement the Marzano program this year. So, if you would tell us a little bit about how you came to that decision.
Okay. We were looking at something or some pathway that would support our initiatives in becoming more highly reliable in the educational experience that our students are receiving. So, and by that, we value that each subject has common unit plans, common lesson plans, common assessments to allow us to compare student mastery across grade level. And we also knew that we needed to identify focus standards, and this particular high reliability program allows us to, or trains us to write competency scales to move us towards true personalized learning. We talk a lot about personalized learning right now in education. I'm not sure any of us are really 100% clear on what that really is, and so we knew we needed support to get there. And the biggie that we found was we tried competency-based grading, but that was an epic failure because there was no competency-based training of instruction, and there was no meaning behind what that reporting piece was telling not only our students but our parents. So we realized that we need some support to pull that off. And that's really how we ended up in that program. Levels 1, 2, and 3 cover that process I just described with creating that guaranteed viable curriculum. Then levels 4 and 5 focus on how personalized do you really want to be. Are you going to go 100% competency based? Are you going to report it that way? Or are you going to just learn from your levels 1, 2, and 3 and continue to report traditionally, but yet you know way more about what your students know? And that's how we landed there. They also present the process as a long, methodical commitment as opposed to a hurry up and do.
Right.
And we needed a little bit of that in our life. I mean, one of my weaknesses is that I want to get it done, right? And so they tell you right up front, you know, you're not gonna get certified in these levels quickly. And I think that gave us permission to slow the roll a little bit and get very focused on creating that viable curriculum. Then we can talk about personalized learning. Once we know our curriculum is rock solid, then we can begin to evaluate where are our students in that process. And I think that's where we really needed our most support. And we looked at this exact program a year ago and could not pull it off from a funding standpoint. So we were trying to pull it off. So this funding really helped us partner that funding with other funds and make it happen for this year one. So we're really pleased and proud of that progress. Our other schools in our system are working through that process also without that support, and that's difficult. You know, I will certainly admit that that's difficult. We also are already seeing higher proficiency rates on our benchmarks. We know for a fact our teachers know more about what our students know, and it's changed the culture of our PLC conversations, and I hope you're seeing that also as a coach.
Yes, and this also involves every subject area across the board. So when we do the in-services from the Marzano training, it's every teacher, so everybody's on the same page.
Correct. Now, I will be real honest, we were thrilled to have the additional support from you as a coach in ELA because our data and our student achievement growth says that's our area that we need to really focus on. And so that fit the mission super well, and that always makes for a better project, I think, when you naturally fit the mission of the grant support. And so although we were able to train in all subject areas, I think that's a huge blessing. I do have to be real honest that our big focus was with ELA.
So going forward, obviously you want to continue on into the higher levels of the program, and where do you see this really benefiting Vance overall?
I think that we'll finish the process of creating that guaranteed viable curriculum throughout this school year, and then, well, I think this summer we'll be able to finish writing the competency skills for the focus standards. Then we've got to have to make a decision about what will our personalized learning really look like, and do we want to go towards a competency-based reporting? We are very much considering that. And I'll tell you why. Right now, we can look at student data sheets and we can see a student who is on track or almost on track in math, but they have a 99 average in their math class. And, or even worse, my child has an A, but they're approaching.
Right.
And that's difficult for us to defend to parents, and now it's beginning to more difficult for us to defend. And so we're questioning, what do our grades really tell us about the mastery level of our students? So we're seriously considering that as a part of our personalized learning approach. So that will be more of year 2, and then you have to figure out how to manage all that. When you really say we're perfectly fine for students to progress across the spectrum at their own pace with our support, then we got to figure out how to manage all of that within that classroom.
Right.
And I think that will be year 2, and we'll need that support to pull that off with validity.
Well, have you enjoyed having a coach as in my role as part of the grant?
I enjoy her very, very, very much. Yes. I want to tell the group that we chose to skill group within our 7th and 8th grade reading at learning environment, knowing that that's a risk. When you put your lowest level learners together, I mean, if they could be successful, they would have been successful. Students want to be successful. Right. So we know that they have not only skill gaps, but they don't bring to the table what they need to be successful. So when we did that, I was super nervous. But one of the ways that we have used Miss Mary and Nell is to help us with that exact planning and instruction of that exact class. And I was just working on summary information, when we started our meeting, and now we're able to see we have one 7th grade group who has gone from a mastery level from the first 9 weeks. I say mastery level. Their pass rate for the first 9 weeks was 40%. So only 40% of the students in that class passed. And with the intervention in place, the addition of Mary Nell into that environment, and the skill grouping and the true focus on mastery level in that classroom, 100% of those students pass, which is amazing. I mean, that's great. That's why we spend money on education. That's why we use data. That's why we look at the personal needs individually of each of these kids. And so, we're using flexible learning environment. We're using what we know about focus standards and engaging students, and then with your help, really helping that teacher meet the needs of those exact learners. That's been awesome. And then I've also appreciated having you on our steering committee with high reliability school training, because that keeps us all honest. When we have different perspective on that group, on that committee, we know that you're bringing something totally different from the table, and you're also, I think you're a little less emotionally attached to what we think is right. Yeah. And I think that's good for me to hear. Hey, yeah, this is a good opportunity. The support of the instructional rounds. I think you were very vocal that there's a lot of good stuff going on, and if other people could see that, then they could grow. And I think that's a perspective that I'm not sure we would have had if we weren't open to having people from outside the system be with us.
Okay.
Now, don't take her.
Well, great. Thank you, and we appreciate that, and we wish Vance the very best.
Awesome. Thank you for the partnership and the opportunity.
Okay. Thank you.